Nascar and Hendrick Motorsports have Denny Hamlin enraged. Frustrated, Denny Hamlin has accused NASCAR of providing an unfair advantage to Hendrick Motorsports. He also said that it is time for NASCAR to grow up and stop talking about better communication instead of just doing it. Why is this? What happened? What exactly has enraged Denny Hamlin? There is no denying that Denny Hamlin is one of the drivers who is the most vocal in the garage. It's interesting to note that he frequently directs his criticism against NASCAR. The three-time winner of the Daytona 500 is not afraid to use his veteran status and shine the focus on areas where he sees room for development. The Joe Gibbs Racing driver paid a visit to the press, and in true Hamlin manner, he did not sugarcoat his sentiments in any way. He then put out one particular area in which NASCAR has to improve moving ahead and accused the governing body of giving an unfair edge to Hendrick Motorsports. Denny Hamlin has voiced his backing for Kevin Harvick's crew chief's criticism of NASCAR's communication issues. Hamlin acknowledged that increased communication between NASCAR and the teams is not occurring, although he has spoken a lot in the past about how important it is to make that happen. It happened when Kevin Harvick's crew chief, Rodney Childers, pointed out on social media that teams had heard about a new need for rain flaps for Cup cars on wet road courses through Fox's Bob Pockrass rather than from NASCAR. Childers replied to the tweet sent out by the reporter by saying, "I'm very grateful you give out all the information so that we can understand what we're doing." Hamlin jumped in and said that is true. This year celebrates the 75th anniversary of the establishment of NASCAR. Before the start of the 2023 season, the organization has been drawing attention to the landmark as part of the celebrations that will take place in honor of the organization's Diamond anniversary. These celebrations will include several important events spread out throughout the year. Jeff Gordon and several other drivers, along with other attendees, were there at the New York Stock Exchange to see NASCAR President Steve Phelps ring the closing bell at the NYSE. Even while everyone seemed to be having a good time, it was impossible to overlook the reality that one team and one manufacturer were not present at the festivities. As the 75th season of NASCAR gets underway, everyone needs to take a few moments to reflect on the sport's long and illustrious history, as well as how far it has progressed. The story of how it all started on the beaches of Daytona, and how it finally blossomed into the well-known sport and multi-million-dollar company that it is today is quite incredible, to say the least. As a way to honor such an illustrious past, the governing body that is responsible for regulating the event will commemorate the momentous milestone by holding celebrations with fans throughout the year. Fans already got a taste of it at the beginning of the year when NASCAR participated in the Rose Bowl procession with a float that featured Rajah Caruth, a Rookie Truck Series driver, and Richard Petty, an icon who represented the sport's future and past, respectively. As part of the celebrations for NASCAR's 50th anniversary, several drivers, NASCAR's President Steve Phelps and Jeff Gordon, Vice Chairman of Hendrick Motorsports and a member of the Hall of Fame, were among the NASCAR representatives who attended this week's trading session at the New York Stock Exchange. Daniel Suarez, Chase Elliott, and Ryan Blaney were also in attendance. The most memorable part of the trip was when Phelps rang the closing bell at the stock market, and all the officials from NASCAR stood above the floor and clapped as they did so. Phelps, Gordon, and Elliott were also interviewed for the NYSE program Floor Talk, which is designed to talk to visitors to the exchange about their companies and feature interviews with such guests. No one will look down on NASCAR officials for attempting to advertise the firm, and the 75th anniversary is the perfect opportunity to do so by using new channels, or in this instance, streets, as in Wall Street on the New York Stock Exchange. However, one would also think that a substantial amount of attention would be put to the optics, similar to how NASCAR did when they chose Petty and Caruth to participate in the Rose Bowl procession. Chevrolet and Hendrick Motorsports had a strong presence in New York thanks to the efforts of Suarez from Trackhouse Racing, who joined forces with Elliott and Gordon, Ryan Blaney being the only person to compete on behalf of Ford and Team Penske, and there was not a single driver from Toyota, or specifically Joe Gibbs Racing, in attendance. It's possible that all the drivers competing for JGR and 2311 Racing had other obligations at the time. In light of the fact that Denny Hamlin had previously criticized NASCAR for what he perceived to be preferential treatment of HMS by working exclusively with the company on its Garage 56 project car, which is NASCAR's special entry for the 24-hour of Le Mans in 2023, this wasn't a good look in any way, shape, or form. Even though there were 2 representatives from HMS and none from Toyota or JGR in New York, there was certainly no malicious intent on the side of NASCAR. However, as the proverb goes, the reality is only as it is viewed. And it would seem that NASCAR is giving Hendrick another advantage in this situation as well. And maybe, in the big scale of things, this is only another exciting narrative turn added to the ever-developing NASCAR saga, which is already 75 years old and continues to this day. Ironically, a day following Hamlin's response, NASCAR made an unexpected revelation that, except Hendrick Motorsports, it took every Cup Series company by surprise. NASCAR has formed a partnership with HMS, and the 2 organizations plan to enter a modified version of the next-generation Chevrolet Camaro at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 2023. The HMS Vice President of Competition, Chad Knaus, will serve as the project supervisor. Before the race at Circuit of the Americas, Hamlin explained to the media that the statement came out of nowhere, and he confessed that it made him feel uneasy.
I don't know, it just doesn't... Finding out through a press conference is not okay. We have too many people in place. NASCAR has too many executives for that to slip through the cracks. Not that it slipped through the cracks, but like, where's the transparency of it? And then, on the other side, there's certainly performance advantages that every team is concerned with. There's no, short of us being allowed to have the same track time, I do not see any way possible that they will not have an advantage. And this is a team that already has won more races than anyone this season next year. So I think, from my standpoint, it seemed like the decision was made, and they'll kind of figure out the details later.
I mean, I just, and NASCAR knows that I've said to them that, like, I just wish we would stop talking about communicating better and just communicate better. Like, it's not, anything that involves competition that changes. I just think, just let us know, because we spend time preparing. Drivers don't just show up and race and like, it'll be fine, right? This isn't. We gotta just seems like grow up and get better with our processes of stuff like this. It's just frustrating. It's not right or wrong. It's just frustrating.
Some race fans think of Denny Hamlin as a driver who is always whining or complaining. Perhaps this is the case concerning the on-track activity and with certain drivers, like Alex Bowman. On the other hand, when it comes to the sport as a whole, nobody can call into doubt his enthusiasm for enhancing the sport and his readiness to put himself out there and address possible weak spots in the sport. This is the kind of legacy that will live for much longer than any amount of trophies he may have collected over the years. Hey, let us know in the comment box what you all think about this video, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching.